I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Richmond Fund for Children and Youth Oversight Board for the City of Richmond, Monday, October 2nd at 6:06 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Yes. Board Member Castro Curry is absent. Board Member Dandy Evans is absent. Board Member Anyana,
Here.
if you could use your microphone.
Oh, here.
Thank you. Board Member Heckstrom.
Present.
Board Member Cotter.
Here.
Board Member Saketa.
Here.
And Co-Chair Galloway is absent. Co-Chair Lee.
Present.
And we have quorum.
Thank you, Patrick. Next, moving on to item B, agenda review and modifications.
Yes, staff is recommending that we move item F1 and table it to our next meeting in November. Unfortunately, the West Ed, our evaluators, are not able to make it this evening, so we wanted to table that item. And as a note, for item F5, if approved, please make some time after the meeting for the recordings themselves.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve?
So for this item, oh, you're right. The modifications.
Do they approve?
Motion to approve the modifications to the agenda. Second.
Are there any objections to the modifications? All right, so it moves. Thank you.
Great. Next, moving on to item C, report from the department.
Yes, so we have a few things that we'd like to share. One of them is in relationship to some of our staff hirings. So some of you are familiar with Guadalupe Morales, who has been participating and supporting the department for at least a year now. Guadalupe was primarily placed in the recreation department, but we have poached her, and she is now officially in the Department of Children and Youth as a management analyst. So we want to say welcome to Guadalupe. She is now officially a part of our department. So we're very happy to have her joining our team. Also, as Nick shared with regards to our evaluation, we are beginning the evaluation process. According to the charter, we are required to have an independent evaluator basically look at our grantees, engage with them, and also basically develop some reports about how well they're doing, how they're spending the funding, who they're serving. And so you might have seen in your packet a very lengthy PowerPoint deck that went over what their role, and it currently is in your packet, what their role will be, and also what your role can be in that process as well. And so they were unable to be here tonight, but they will be at your next regular meeting. And it'll give you an opportunity to ask all the questions that you have about what the evaluation should produce, what we hope to find out, and then how it can help inform us going forward with regard to funding. So just want to give you that heads up. At our next regular meeting, we'll have a quite lengthy presentation, and the evaluators will be here, and you can kind of engage them around some of the specifics of that. Also want to highlight that board member Devin Din has resigned. He is doing a semester abroad in Denmark. So, so he won't be able to attend for a little while, but I think he was very interested in staying in touch. So I think upon his return, he may reapply. And given that we have a vacancy for him, he might come back, but he's offered his resignation. And want to highlight that the Department of Children and Youth participated on, what date was that? September 17th in an event in El Sobrante called the El Sobrante Stroll. And we got an opportunity to do quite a bit of outreach, gave out a lot of swag, stress balls and pins and clips and things like that. share information about the Oversight Board and opportunities for some of the vacancies that we have to fill. And so staff is very interested in pushing that forward, but do want to let you know that we are being very proactive about getting out in the community and to share the work that we're doing. Nick is also going to give some information to you about some of the new technology that you're seeing and some that you may be unaware of.
Yes, so all of you should see the mics in front of you. If you have any questions or you wish to speak, all you have to do is you should see a button that has a little face highlighted. You press it and your mic turns red. If you want to go ahead and test. And you should see it light up red, and that means you have live audio and you are able to be heard. If you turn it off, it turns off the mic. As a note, we now have upgraded cameras here in council chambers. So we are offering with the recordings a live footage feed, so the public will also be able to see on the recording you all. There is currently a wide lens shot on all of our board members. There is one for us here as staff, and then one also capturing Abdul and Patrick as well. So we have both this new upgraded audio and cameras. You can see the cameras. There's one here, and the one capturing our board members over there. Yep.
And LaShonda?
Oh, before the department reports end, I can't remember the last time we met, so hello, everyone. June? So I also want to say congratulations to Patrick Seals, who received a promotion within the city of Richmond. Patrick was a senior management analyst, but now he has been promoted to a grants manager. So he is not only overseeing our internal grants that city departments that we give out to organizations. So we have the ECIA grant and the Department of Children and Youth. But he also helps to support departments and works closely with finance in looking at and overseeing and managing and cracking the whip in a really wonderful, positive way to make sure we are doing what we need to do as city staff with regards to external grants that we go after. So his scope has increased, but we're very proud of him and doing an amazing job and well worth everything that he has received. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that he has a little more on his plate. His plate is full, but he is capable. So we're really proud of him.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's cool. It's cool.
Great. Thank you for the lovely reports. Moving on to item D, public forum.
Yes. So just for the record, public forum is a time to address matters that are not on the agenda, and all written public comments were received by 3:30 p.m. today, will be read to the Oversight Board and be considered a part of the public record. And we will also share public information if there are any supplemental materials. Today we have just one public comment through email, and we don't have any public speakers, and that came from Cordell Hindler. And he says, hello, Patrick. I am submitting the following comments into the record. One, Mayor Martinez has mentioned the Oversight Board at previous council meetings. And two, also, the update is that my project is coming along and I will inform the board at a later time. Sincerely, Cordell. And those are our public comments.
Great. Moving on to item E, consent calendar. On E1, we have approving the minutes of the June 5th, 2023 meeting of the Richmond Fund for Children and Youth Oversight Board. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Board Member Saketa?
Approve.
Board Member Hegstrom?
Yes.
Board Member Anyana?
Yes.
Board Member Cotter?
Yes.
And Co-Chair Lee.
Yes.
The consent calendar is approved unanimously.
All right, moving on to item F, Oversight Board as a whole.
And for the record, item F1 has been continued till next week.
All right, So item F2, which is to receive an update on hiring a consultant to facilitate the community needs assessment and strategic investment plan.
And we
Yes.
do have a report.
Good evening, Co-Chair and members of the Oversight Board. We'll be talking a little bit about the process for the last CNA SIP and then going into where we are currently as staff. So to get us started, we have a little bit of information. Measures E and K were established in Richmond via voters. That was on June 5th, 2018. They were eventually ratified as Article 15, and Article 15 outlines the need for the Department of Children and Youth and the Richmond Fund for Children and Youth to have a community needs assessment and a strategic investment plan to guide 3 years of spending every 3-year grant cycle. A little bit of information about that was the first RFP for our initial CNA SIP was released on December 10th of 2019. Hatchell, Tabernick and Associates, or HTA, was eventually selected. They engaged the Richmond community to develop the CNA SIP. You'll see a little bit more on the next slide about the work that they did to kind of create the CNA SIP. It allowed us to have priority areas which guided our funding, and it led the first 3 fiscal years 2021 through fiscal years 2024, which is what we actually just funded in our last meeting on June 5th. Here we have some of the work that HTA did and how they came about creating these priority areas. It was community surveys, community workshops. They worked with targeted stakeholders. There were various organizations such as RISE, community leaders that they did a lot of outreach with. The primary goal was, again, to understand where the need was in Richmond and how can our dollars best serve students and the youth that we have here in the city of Richmond. The priority areas that were created, I'm sure you're all familiar with them. We have our behavioral health and mental health. 20% of funding should be allocated to that. The education and training employment support for 20%. Out of school time, after school, sports and enrichment, 20%. Violence prevention, 20%. And then basic needs and information case management, each received 10%. And again, those were created and guided through the community outreach that HTA did. Where we are now for our next CNA SIP, it'll guide fiscal years 2024 through 2025 to fiscal year 2026 and 2027. We released the RFP on June 20th. Responses were due back to us August 1st, and we actually received 7 applications. And you can see the applicants that we have: Empathy in Action, Eval Corp., Initium, Eli Patrick and Company, Courtney Lee LLC, Lynette Loving LLC, and Valor. We have sort of an expected timeline moving forward. We actually have 3 oversight board members scoring and reviewing the RFPs along with department staff. So we have 8 members or 8 individuals who are going to be reviewing these. Those scores are due to us as a department on October 9th. They'll be tabulated and returned to all of our reviewers on the 11th. We'll have a meeting to confer and make sure that we have all of the correct scores and rankings for our RFP applicants. On the 17th, we anticipate having interviews set and scheduled for all of our potential applicants. Our final interviews will be on October 30th. The final recommendation for our vendor will be brought to you all again on our November 6th meeting. So a reminder that we will be meeting on November 6th. And then finally, on November 21st, we anticipate it being brought forth to the Richmond City Council with a potential contract so we can move forward with the CNA SIP for next year's fiscal year. Are there any questions?
Does Valor have a different name? Because I don't recall seeing that application. I have just completely missed it.
We can take a look in the packets because that is what they applied under. I don't know, Patrick, do you want to speak to that?
We can confirm with you. I'm sorry, apologize. We can confirm with you after the meeting just to verify, and if you are missing that, we can get that to you right away.
Darn, I thought I was mostly done. Okay.
Unfortunately, that might mean a little bit more work.
So, are there any other questions or comments from the Oversight Board?
I have a question. So the recommendations, so will the after the interviews, there will be like a final recommendation will be done after the November 21st? meeting?
Yes, so the way that we have the outline sort of moving forward is that we are going to essentially take all of our tabulated scores and we are going to rank them. And that's the RFP process, and we're going to come up with sort of a final 3, final 4, and we're going to extend interviews to those final applicants. And then they'll come back for final interviews. We'll have a chance to interview them. Everybody who scored, I believe, will have the chance to attend those interviews, so it's not just going to be department staff. And then with the interviews and our final tabulated scores, we're going to select our top vendor. And we will bring that to you all as a board, saying this is our recommendation. We'll have these scores. I don't believe interview notes are directly shared, but we'll have, board members who will be a part of the interviews, but you'll see all of our notes as staff and everything that we have. That'll be brought to you, and then should that be approved by you as an oversight board, we will take that final recommendation and that vendor to city council. That way we can enter into contract with them.
Okay. Yeah, because okay.
That's the only one that might have.
Yeah, I was just looking at the same thing. So in the 7 RFPs that you all, proposals that you all submitted, there's one from Public Works LLC. That is not listed on here, but I don't see a Valor. So maybe somehow,
I think there may be, they may have a working title or something, but we'll verify. But I believe that LaShonda is correct, that it, and Board Member Sketa, is that it probably is Public Works. But it could be that the name they placed on the bids list, because they had to apply via an online system, might have been Valor, but on the application itself, it might say Public Works.
Okay.
So, but we will confirm all of that.
All right, thank you all. If there's no other questions or comments, let's move on to agenda item F3 to discuss and approve a logo for the Richmond Fund for Children and Youth.
So if you, so if you look at the top, that's our current logo we're using for the Department of Children and Youth and the Fund for Children and Youth. We feel like, no, up top. Oh yeah, on the left. I'm sorry. Yes, on the left in the middle. That's the logo that we're currently using. What we want to do is push for a more unique logo that will set us apart from different entities. Something that we could put on our branding materials, like when we're going out tabling, we could put it on all of our materials, T-shirts, to just make us identifiable from other cities, one, and then other inter-city departments as well. If you look on the right-hand side, at the top, you can see that's the Oakland Fund for Children and Youth's logo, and at the bottom, that is the San Francisco Department of Children, Youth, and their Families logo. We want something that's going to give out a family feel and just essentially let people know who we are and our core values. These are the proposed logo options. The first one is the staff recommendation, all the way to the left. And from there, we just wanted to discuss and approve and vote on what to use moving forward for all of our promotional items and social media.
To hop in and add, what we're looking for here is if there's discussions on any of the options that are presented here before you, we have our staff recommendation, but we wanted to make sure before we move forward that the oversight board had a chance to vote. Perhaps you didn't like staff's recommendation or make any alternatives that you wish to make. So these are the 3 that we currently have for a logo.
And I do want to also call out that Abdul created all of these. So, so Abdul has been with us since when?
It's been about 5 months. 4 or 5
Okay,
months.
and so Abdul has a degree in marketing from Tuskegee University, and he's proficient at a lot of technical software that I don't know about. But he's done a wonderful job, and he did basically what I asked him to, which was let's come up with some options, something that feels something very polished, very refined, and he gave us a few more. We kind of met, discussed them, and these were the top three. We're letting you know what we'd love to see, but we also want your input, right? Because it's your oversight board. And so we want to provide you an opportunity to give us some feedback on what you think the best options are. And I think what's also neat about these is, as Abdul says, is that these things can be placed on pullovers and t-shirts and hats and jackets and all types of things, bags, and he has the capacity to change the color of them. So let's say we were doing Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we could make the logo pink, right? Or we could change it to different colors depending on the color of the garment or the bag, just to kind of acknowledge any special months or times of year that we'd like. So I just want to thank him for his hard work. And so we're kind of excited about this, to be honest with you. So I think as soon as you guys say yes to something, we're going to stick it on everything. So, so we'd love to hear your feedback.
Yeah, I think these are so beautiful, and I definitely agree with the staff recommendation. I think it looks great on, all kinds of swag that we could put it on. Any feedback from my fellow board members?
I have a question. Can we go back one slide, please? Okay. I was just thinking of the colors itself. I like the logo of the staff recommendation. I was just thinking of the colors itself. Can we align them in still with the Richmond colors, like the ones that we have in logo, like blue and red? I mean, we do have somewhat, but not quite. So, is that possible? I mean, we do have blue and we have red, but maybe, I don't know, just not seeing it. Maybe it's the shade.
So are you asking maybe like the acronym and the young people in the middle, if they could be a particular color?
Um, hmm. I guess I'm just a little thrown off by the black in the middle for some reason.
Okay. I think that, well, Abdul can speak to whether or not we can change the colors. I think that's probably.
But yeah, no, we can definitely change them if that's like what you guys want. The reason why I did it like that though is just because Richmond's colors are traditionally like the blue, the red, and more recently started using a little bit of the gold. So I was trying to just stay things that were in our color palette, and I actually took those colors directly from our style guide that we currently have. But if everybody wants to change them, we can definitely go ahead and get that done.
Yeah, it was just a suggestion. Yeah.
I'm just thinking maybe Abdul, you could play with, maybe it's like playing with the color of the words, or, just seeing if something different pops a little more than just the black, and we just can see what that looks like.
So are we asking him to do some more designs and come back?
Well, I think it'd be nice if you could pick the logo, and then he could come back and say, hey, here are some additional color options.
Okay.
Just so that we can move forward with it.
So I just wanted to comment that I like the children in black because because they're just outlined, so it's sort of like the shadow. I don't know. I like the black of the children some. But I would like to make a motion to approve this design and then maybe get some other color options. We have a second?
No. I like the logo, the first one. I was just curious if we can, because it's geared towards children, and this is children and youth. So we don't have any youth, like adult, like our teens or whatever. Or could we get like those three, but an array of ages, just because we're targeting the different age gate?
Well, I think it could be done. I think in the image, just looking at it, and Bill can obviously jump in, because they are kind of outline silhouettes, you can't really tell what age the youth are. Now, you could presume, right? We could presume that because they're playing, that they're smaller, but I think there could be another option. I don't know, Bill, is that possible? I'm not sure what it would look like.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I'm just wondering if you,
Oh, okay.
if we could play with, I like this design.
Yeah.
But if we could play, because you know how if you saw San Francisco has children and families, so it has the adult, like you can see, but I'm just wondering like we are children and youth though. Like if you can,
The truth is that Oakland actually has different silhouettes. And so it could be that as an option, we approve kind of the structure of the logo, and what actually goes in the middle could change, right? So we might have maybe what appears to be a family, we might have what appears to be teenagers, but the structure of the logo is pretty consistent. I think those are options.
And while you're at it, you could also play around with the font a little bit. Like, for example, the one on the middle one, the font is a little softer. I don't know. It's not a big deal. I still like the first one just the way it is, and I'm willing to approve it. If anybody else wants to second that.
I'll second that.
So we will do, so the motion is to approve the logo as is. I just want to add some clarity. Would we like to have Abdul come back with, just to kind of take into consideration some of the feedback, would we also like to have Abdul come back maybe with maybe some variations in the palette, the color palette, and also maybe show an option that includes either teens and or older, a little older young people?
Yes, with variations to come back.
Okay.
Add that to the motion.
So is Co-Chair Lee amenable to that?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. All right. So we will do a roll call. So just for the record, we're approving the logo as is with certain adjustments to come back as options at perhaps our next meeting. Okay? Board Member Saketa.
yes.
Board Member Heckstrom.
Yes.
Board Member Inyana.
Yes.
Board Member Cutter.
Yes.
And Co-Chair Lee.
Yes.
That the vote is unanimous. I just want to say thank you all so much for this, because now we're getting ready to throw this thing on everything. So we're very happy about this, and we're excited to give Abdul more work. So thank you for that.
So will we be able to order like hoodies in the future?
I already got my head. I'm just being honest with you, and this is my head. I already see a black hoodie with this in all white on a black hoodie. I already see it for myself. So that's what I'm. Sorry,
We will,
LaShonda.
no, there's no sorry. We will make sure you all get some swag. We think that's really important so that you can go represent for the Department of Children and Youth and go help us spread the word about the wonderful work you all are doing. So you won't get too much swag because we have a budget, but you'll get something.
Yes.
Great. Thank you all. Okay, moving on to item F4, to discuss and approve an ad hoc committee to plan a retreat in early 2024 for the Oversight Board.
All right, I will present on that today. Again, Lupe Morales, happy to present here and present this item to you all. So agenda item 4 is an item to discuss and approve the ad hoc committee to plan a retreat. And overall, I know it's something we've mentioned in previous meetings that we want to host a retreat for y'all, and for one reason or another, we haven't been able to. But I think we we as staff have discussed it in more detail and want to pivot a little bit and see if we can maybe put that or collaborate with you all or in the form of an ad hoc committee to be able to plan a retreat. So especially now with the new 3-year grant cycle coming in after this most current one, which is fiscal year 23-24. Beginning in 24-25, it's going to be the beginning of a full 3-year cycle with the oversight board and the fund for children and youth. So I think it's a great way to really own in on what we want the oversight board and also the fund to do, and have goals, have a little bit more collaboration in mind as we move forward with this complete new 3-year cycle that hopefully, with everything we've learned in the last 2-3 years, we can really kind of come into that, like knowing what to do and best practices. So we hope, next slide. Sorry. Yeah, so with this, we hope with the creation of an ad hoc committee, we hope that we can get 2 to 3, I don't think we can do 4, 2 to 3 oversight board members who can help us to develop an agenda for a retreat that aligns with the goals of the board. That primarily would be the biggest thing, is figuring out exactly what we want to do at this retreat. It can be something that's a little more low key, it can be a little bit more strategic, and maybe seeing if we can do some goals, some targets that we want to do with the fund and the oversight board. And then it also includes little smaller things, with including a location, which it can always be here at City Hall, or if there's a different location that we want to do. Dates, which primarily we're thinking right now if we can get a retreat done in the first quarter of 2024, so that'd be between January and March. And then also to hopefully delegate responsibilities within those 2 to 3 volunteers. And then with that, hopefully come back to the oversight board in our regular special meetings to talk about what's in the plan, what's in the works, and to promote a little bit more communication and collaboration between us and the oversight board members. Next slide. Yeah, so with that, it's pretty straightforward. We just are looking if we have 2 to 3 oversight board members who have time and who are available and who are willing and who are interested to form an ad hoc committee for this. We as staff will definitely be here to support you all, whether it's, if you want us to attend your meetings, if you need us to help facilitate maybe coordination of a facilitator that you would want, maybe there's some trainings that you want to do. We would be happy to help with that. But we wanted to see if there was any interest in forming an ad hoc committee. Time requirements can be kind of how you find would be most helpful and most flexible. So that could mean if you guys want to meet weekly, you're welcome to. Obviously, you don't have to. We have busy lives. It can be bi-weekly, monthly, as long as we can maybe get something in the works by the beginning of next year. So I'm happy to do any Q&A or have more discussion, and hopefully we can get something on board.
I also just want to mention, we had one public comment for this. Cordell Hindler wrote in to state his support for the creation of an ad hoc committee.
Thank you. Do we have a budget for this?
This could be something, actually we could discuss that. I think we should be able to have some, I don't know if maybe LaShonda has some information on that.
Go ahead.
No, we budgeted for it.
Yeah.
So yes,
It's not an unlimited budget,
No.
once again,
Yeah.
no,
but we will feed you if we need a facilitator.
we'll pay the
You know what I mean? Like,
facilitator.
so there is some funding. We can't take you somewhere really magical, but
We could use the city space, but there is significant budget to support the retreat.
yeah, whatever
In
the
a
vision
meaningful
is of
way,
the
in a
ad hoc
meaningful
committee
way.
and the full
Yes.
board, we are here to support that. And of course, as Lupe stated, work really closely together to make sure that what the ad hoc committee and then ultimately the full board wants to see can come to fruition.
That's an excellent question.
Any other questions?
Well, are we thinking full day or half day or evening, or that's the ad hoc
I
committee?
think, yeah, so I know we've kind of juggled with the time for that too, because I know we have a lot of things that we do outside of this. I think originally we were planning for a full day, but I think depending on how you all might see fit, it might be a half day that works the best for everyone. So it might be something if you want to do from like 10 to 2, or like if you want to do really early, do 9 to like 12 o'clock, or if you really want to do 9 to 5, you're welcome to do that. And then also timing as well, if you wanted to do during the week, if that works for most people, that's also an option. It sounds like most people might be the most available like on a weekend. So depending on that as well.
And I'll also add on this is additional options is if, those that choose to participate in the ad hoc, it could be that it could be 3 half days, right? So maybe you get to a full day, but it might be 3 sessions. So no one has to overcommit an entire day to participate. There's a lot of options and dexterity that could be available to kind of support the work.
Yeah, and I think I also add too, if you, whoever wants to, maybe move this forward, I'm happy to provide templates maybe from previous or, examples of retreats we've had with the city with other commissions as well to help a little bit with that. Because I know sometimes having a lot of flexibility and a lot of freedom with this might feel overwhelming. So I'm happy to provide examples from other retreats in the city as well of what that could be. Because some folks like a mix of maybe icebreakers, maybe a little bit more teamwork kind of activities, and some folks want a little bit more strategic planning stuff. So maybe a good mix of that would be good. But however you guys would like, I'm happy to provide any sort of support in that sense.
Well, I'd like to volunteer to be part of this committee.
Okay. All right. So we have Chair Lee. Would anyone else be interested?
I would also would be.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I think we would have at least anyone else, or I think we can.
I'd like to
Yeah.
also participate.
Okay. Perfect. All right. I think that is great. So I think with that, I do believe we might need a motion to approve the ad hoc committee, and then we can go ahead and I can come back for the next meeting for an update on that and probably send out some information next week as well on how to move forward with that. But I'm excited to have that. Hear that.
So a motion to approve the ad hoc committee?
I'll second.
All right, we go do a roll call. Board Member Saketa,
Yes.
Board Member Hegstrom,
Yes.
Board Member Nyana,
Yes.
Board Member Kader,
Yes.
and Co-Chair Lee.
Yes.
All right, the motion is approved unanimously. Thank you.
Yay. So item F5 has been moved? Or,
Item F1 was tabled.
Oh,
Item
sorry.
F5 is on the
Okay.
agenda.
great, okay. Moving on to item F5 to discuss and approve scripts for oversight board outreach campaigns.
Hi, guys. So when I initially got here, one of the main things we wanted to do was focus on outreach. So we developed some scripts, or proofread and everything like that, that we would like for you guys to, record so we can use in our social media posts and any type of social aspect that we have. Just inviting people out to the oversight board meetings, or inviting them to be members of the oversight board, or, if you want to apply for grant funding, like anything like that. Those are all blurbs, I guess, that we will have for that. One thing that we will ask, because we know that the oversight board speaks multiple languages. If it's possible, if we could have people say it in different languages, so we have more of a turnout and everything like that as well. And we have a template, so it's not going to take too much from you guys. Just essentially just reading it, replacing your name in there, and going from there. And we actually have them for you to see here. Go to the next one. And it's 4 of them, so you guys can just look over them and just, go over the slides.
To hop in here for a second, the recommended action is for you all to discuss if there's any changes you'd like to make. We have the 4 blurbs for you to view, so we're going to go through them real quickly, and then if we would like to move for you all to approve them, and if they are approved, then we will actually record them tonight at the ending of the meeting.
Those that are willing to record tonight.
The first blurb is an early invite to oversight board meetings. The idea here is that we'll have these recordings available to us if they're going to go out. We post on our Instagram, our departmental Instagram, letting everyone know we have upcoming meetings. So that's kind of the focal point of our first blurb. The second blurb is a standard reminder just to go out to the public that our oversight board meetings are happening. It was a recording, I think, that was based off of when Co-Chair Galloway actually went live right before one of our meetings, I believe back in April. So that's kind of where we took the idea for this blurb from. Yes.
So this one, there's an initial problem that it's RDCY when it should be RFCY.
Yes.
But I also think that when you're saying it, instead of just saying the initials, you should probably read the whole words out so people know what you're talking about. Most people won't know we all know what RFCY is, but random people won't.
Oh yeah, we can definitely make those changes. We constructed these and we can easily make those changes and have that changed on the template that you'll be reading this evening. The next blurb is an invite to join the Oversight Board. It's a statement that we have openings and positions available. It's part of the recruitment strategy that we'd like to have. Just various reminders going out on our Instagram channels, Facebooks. I believe we have another social media platform that you use, Instagram, Facebook. Is there another one, Abdul?
X. We also use X.
Yes, formerly known as Twitter. For just to let everyone know, yep, formerly known as Twitter. Just to let everyone know that there are positions on the oversight available. And then the final blurb that we have is a reminder for our nonprofit organizations that there are grant funds available. As we gear up for our new 3-year fiscal cycle, we want to make sure that we have as much outreach and as much information available to our nonprofits as possible. So we actually have a blurb and a reminder for them included as well.
I just want to add for this one, as we're making some edits, that we should say need funding for your nonprofit or governmental entity, because we don't just fund nonprofits. So I want to be very clear, make sure we're really open. And I know Patrick loves when we say ages 0, so
I would
birth.
like to say from birth.
Birth, so I know,
From
so
birth.
birth.
From birth.
Birth to 24.
Yes,
That's a
please.
peeve of mine, saying 0. I say from birth to age 24. And the power of, over the next couple months, having you all record these is if Board Member Kader records all 4 of those, you record all 4, you record all 4, you all record all 4. Throughout the year, we can just mix and match. And in a very short period of time, we have a lot of content throughout the entire year that uses different faces, different languages, different representations of the Oversight Board and the community reflected back at the community on our social media post. And so in a very short period of time, we have this really nice mix of social media posts. And in addition, there might be some feedback not only to the scripts, but some ideas around that you have around how to improve maybe outreach, utilizing some of our social media channels that you might be familiar with and find effective.
As one final note, you'll know that the last page of your agenda packets actually contains the scripts. So the motion, if so approved, will come with the changes for blurb 4. That'll be from birth to age 24, as well as nonprofit or governmental agencies instead of the organizations. And then it'll be the Richmond Fund for Children and Youth on the second blurb as the fix. And if so approved, then we will record after the ending of this meeting.
And just as an addition, I'm sorry. I just wanted to let you guys know, I want you guys to feel comfortable when you're up there saying it. So if you don't feel comfortable saying it like verbatim from there, feel free to put your own little spin on it or twang, however, we want you to feel comfortable and, it want to be a very inviting feel.
Okay. I think my only suggestion on the whole filming list is that I would probably like to see different backgrounds and not us sitting in chambers filming this. So maybe like outside where it gets a different ambiance versus a cold gray wall or wood paneling. And, maybe we could think about, not necessarily filming all of them on one day, but maybe, coming back and even doing a prop wall where we could just stand in front of and it's a whole different look to, some of these events. Yeah, so it doesn't just look like we actually filmed all these in one day. So, just like I said, maybe 1 or 2, here now, and then maybe 1 or 2 outside. We come early to a meeting and maybe, we have a prop wall and maybe 1 or 2 different dress, different hairstyle, different shirt. So it looks like we kind of put some thought into like making sure it actually looks different. So we have variations to, what we're getting ready to present and not, just us talking, you know, different person,
Well,
same thing, different
no,
person.
definitely. I told the staff that we should approve this and then record later, but they were insistent on perhaps doing it tonight. So I think it'd be great if we approve it and come back, do the edits, and then at your next one, we can,
And give it to us in advance so we can practice a little bit?
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
we run smooth?
So that was my initial idea, so.
Yeah, so I mean, that would be my only suggestion that like, some of us, we could do some now, whoever feels comfortable. Unless you're really, really great and you could just like hold blurs out, green screen in the back and just add,
I said we
the
could do
beach
it.
to it.
I believe we could do it at our next one, then you all have enough early warning.
What kind of camera are you gonna use?
Oh, we have the equipment.
Here, you have it now?
It's a Canon E10 Rebel. It's a pretty nice.
And we could just do it in the background of the
For those that are
It's
willing
gonna
and
be more
able.
closely up to your face, right?
Yeah, you could have your pet in it.
I believe we have it, and Abdul, if you could show it?
While Abdul's getting that, I do want to say, like, if we appreciate if anyone is willing to do it tonight, you can be here with this beautiful wood grain. You also want to be behind this beautiful greenish color wall. We could do it in front of City Hall. I think there's maybe not a lot of light, but I think beautiful, Abdul. Thank you. Also, instead of just waiting until the next meeting, in between now and then, Abdul can connect with you all if Abdul needs to travel to meet you all somewhere and film. Like, I think we're able to make it work so that it works for you all. And we're at different locations. We can't promote any organizations that we would fund necessarily, but other than that, a beautiful background is a beautiful background.
As he said, you can definitely put your own flavor. You can put your own flavor as you feel comfortable moving forward. And I appreciate this discourse and the feedback. I think it's all really helpful.
Do we have to put our last name, or could we just say the first name?
I don't think you need to include your last name. You could just say, my name is Carol, I'm on the board, and whatever the script.
So we could do a motion to approve.
I motion to approve the blurbs or the,
Well, approve them
Recording.
with the prescribed edits and modifications.
yes,
Okay.
what Patrick said.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Motion by Board Member Saketa, second by Co-Chair Lee, and I will do a roll call. Board Member Saketa,
Yes,
Board Member Hegstrom,
Yes.
Board Member Enyana,
Yes.
Board Member Cotter,
Yes.
and Co-Chair Lee.
Yes.
It is approved, and so we thank you for that. And so we will make some modifications and reach out to you with those, and maybe just send a follow-up email around maybe scheduling when you all are available. And it could obviously be at the next meeting, but as LaShonda noted, it might be, hey, this Tuesday at 10 a.m. I'm gonna swing by, or if you're somewhere at noon, I'll be outside. It's a beautiful day. I'm in a rose garden. Come see me. So we can definitely be very flexible.
sorry, just because I barely noticed it. For the last blurb, can we modify that to make sure it says children and youth, or Richmond children and youth? Because it doesn't, you're saying millions of dollars funding available for children and youth, but not.
I think that's we can definitely make that modification. Thank you.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Great. Thank you all for the lovely meeting. That calls to an end to our Richmond Fund for Children and Youth Oversight Board, October 2nd at 6:56 p.m. Yay. Oh,
Thank you.